welcome back to my channel. This is your diviner, Lotus Mage. Yes, I have been away for about 4 long months now. I did do a sparse uploading in between, but you know, life happens. I've also been kind of going on my own spiritual journey these last few months. And to be honest, I've kind of had to put away the cards. I had to put down the cards. I had to put away the dice. Because I just wasn't in the space of literally, figuratively, mentally, emotionally to kind of just do this. And it wouldn't have been fair to you all to do these readings. I did record a few things, but again, I just didn't think they were adequate. I think they were lacking, and I didn't want to post those. But now that we're here at the end of the year, I have a bit more time, of course, as everything is starting to wind down, and I think it's time for me to do a post or a reading on kind of like what the collective should be looking forward or be aware of moving into the year 2023. So of course I have my tarot cards, which are the Tarot of Opposition. I have, I have the Southern Oracles to kind of just give us a bit more clarity, or to help me get a bit more clarity in this situation. And then I also have some playing cards, because yes, I am always learning how to use something else to divine with. I'm also using playing cards as well, so I'm thinking of using these for timing. Just kind of look ahead for the next few months. So yes, they do have writing on them. I'll flip this over so you can see what I'm talking about. They do have writing on them because, again, as I said, I am learning how to use regular playing cards as a form of divination as well. So again, this reading is going to be about the year ahead. It's going to be a look ahead for the year 2023. And I'm going to get right into it. I'm just going to shuffle these really quick. I just want to shuffle in the intentions that we have. I'm asking my masters, teachers, and loved ones, my ancestors, my guardian angels, my demons to come into this space, to protect me, to watch over me, to help be a form of clarity, to help be my guide, and to translate this reading so that I may better divine for those here in this space, and so that I may protect it from those that would rather not let this happen. So right now we are looking into the year 2023. Alright. What should the collective be aware of for the year 2023? What should the collective be aware of for the year 2023? What should the collective be aware of for the year 2023? What should the collective be aware of for the year 2023? What is the outlook for the year 2023? The outlook. Oh, so wait a minute. We have a couple cards here. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Wands. Automatically, this makes me think about all the talks that we are having about a recession. Honestly, this is what first came to mind. Can I get one more card on what the collective needs to be aware of for the year 2023? And it's funny, as I say that, I'm starting to smell cinnamon. That's what I'm starting to smell. I wasn't smelling it earlier. And then we also have the Page of Cups, What is the underlying energy for the year of 2023? We have the Knight of Swords. So that is the underlying energy for the year 2023. And so again, what we have here is the Ace of Pentacles, the Seven of Wands, and the Page of Cups. What I will say is that there is going to be some hardships because of financial reasons. And if you're here in the U.S., I mean, really kind of globally, we've all been affected by this lately. Inflation, the rising costs of living versus, people kind of like losing their jobs or being sick and treated and not treated with like dignity and respect based on their wage instead of just being human. You've seen, at least in this year 2022, in the age of Aquarius, we've had a lot of rebel with the cause kind of things going on across the world. I think, what was that, South America and places like what's that, India, where they were getting rid of their like prime minister or something like that, overthrowing their prime minister. You see the things over there in I would say Britain. I'm not going to say UK, but Britain, where they've lost one of their powerful monarchs, one of the monarchs that most people have only known, has been the only monarch people have known for their entire life, or most of their life. Now, and now it's a new regime coming through. We have the civil unrest going on with like Russia and Ukraine. You see a lot of the wars and over resources and things like that that's going on in Africa. You have the I am sorry if I'm gonna mess this up. Bolsonaro and them and their elections, and oh my God, what is it? I'm blanking on a lot of things, but you know what I'm talking about. You just seeing a lot of like civil unrest, a lot of people being unhappy. We're seeing a lot of the kind of like the mental blowback of all of that, and how the worldwide stage has been kind of disrupted or kind of moved forward in progress because of COVID. And so we're seeing a lot of that. I do want to say, sorry, if you do hear water, it's just my fountain. It's to keep me grounded. So yes, if you hear water, it's my fountain. It's nothing weird or leaking in here. But yeah, it kind of makes me think of that. It just makes me think of like, especially with this Seven of Wands here, it just makes me think of like rebel with the cause, fighting for fair and equitable living wages, work. I think this is also pointing to kind of like a change, on a bigger scale. I think this is also kind of pointing to a change in power. I think we're gonna. It kind of makes me think of like French Revolution kind of thing. I don't think we're at the point where people are going to start pulling out the guillotine. At least I hope not. Hopefully this can be done peacefully, but I think people are getting to that point where, if that's what it's coming to, that's what it's going to happen to. I think we are getting back to a stage of care and concern, of giving back. I think that's kind of like what we're looking for in 2023. I think we're getting back to, I don't want to say reality, but yeah, self-indulgence is coming through, but also kind of just like, I need to take care of self before I can take care of others. Yeah, he's holding up a cup, so it could be something materialistic, but it could also just be the value of self, or whether that's materialistic items, or finally signing up for that therapy session that you needed to do, or having that conversation with a loved one that you fell out with, or moving away from people who have created a space where you no longer feel safe or cared for. So I think this is kind of like the overall theme for 2023. But let's see if I'm right. Let's dive more into this. And again, with the Knight, was it the Knight of Swords on the bottom? Yeah, with the Knight of Swords in reverse, mind you. So it's definitely speaking to like a dark hour, a dark time, where you're kind of just, I think if we aren't careful as a collective, that we could be rushing headlong into things and not thinking it clearly through. Versus like when we're the Knight of Swords in the upright, where we're being strategic and how we're moving forward and what plans and motions and things like that we should be putting into place in order to move forward. Again, so just to get a bit more clarity on this, why is this Ace of Pentacles here? Why is this Ace of Pentacles here? Can I get more clarity? Okay, so I got a couple cards I want to know. So it's Don't Get Your Feathers Ruffled, which is number 42, which could break down to 6. If you are into numerology, this speaks to Don't Get Your Feathers Ruffled, inner calm, well-being, patience, deep breathing, compassion, the idea. It kind of makes me think of the Page of Cups. You got a one horse town, which is number 37, which boils down to 9, which means this shouldn't last long. So boredom, monotony, small-mindedness, branch out and move on. Novelty needed. I'm gonna move this out the way so I can lay these all down here. And these came up in reverse. So then you have Holler, which is number 5. This is speaking to a lot of like restriction and struggle and having to work. Communication, honesty, courage, sharing, revelation, surprise news, text, or phone call. So I think this is going to do with a lot of like social media, our news, what we're exposed to, maybe not being exposed to that much longer. And then we also have number 19, which boils out to 10, or 1, which means a renewal, which is sweating like a sinner in church. So it seems like we're going through the fire, and this is going to prove like who can really stand up. And it reads guilt, remorse, nerves, worry, confession, coming clean, apology. Integrity needed is the key word for me on this card. Integrity needed. I probably should hold that up a little longer. But those two came up in reverse, and that's kind of like why this Ace of Pentacles is here. And so now can we get a, let's see here. I'm going to go back to this. I want to know kind of, what is the messaging we are getting from this Page of Cups? What is the message that this Page of Cups is here to deliver? Okay. So let's see here. We have, okay, Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands, but it's in the upright. So yeah, this speaks to getting back to true passions. This Page of Cups, this Knight of Wands, this, to me, this speaks to going back to what truly impassions you, what truly matters to you, what really gets your blood going, creating again, especially with like this kind of like, he's holding like, is that a quill? Or a jewel? So yeah, it's like, to me, yeah, it just speaks to kind of like going back to what matters, what's really the care. And even though this is the Knight of Wands, it gives me a lot of pentacles. It gives me a lot of material. It gives me a lot of like materialistic items. It doesn't give me just kind of like just, you know, your passion or of self. It doesn't really give me that. It makes me think of like materialistic things, oddly enough. So why is the 7 of Wands here for the year 2023? What is the 7 of Wands doing here for the year 2023 for the collective? Oh, there's a couple things get that popped out here. So let's see. We have stomping grounds, origin, nostalgia, memories, tradition, tribute, visit, past connections. So I'm gonna move this. And then we have it's blowing up a storm. So again, some kind of conflict. Strong momentum, sudden change, necessary shakeup, transformation, hope. And then we have I'll get round to it. What's the rush? Waiting, inspired action only. Trust, relax to allow the flow. So yeah, this is definitely speaking to take time to consider what you really want. Take time to go back to a moment in time where you truly were happy. Think about what made you happy at that time. What made you feel free? What made you feel content in life? What could you truly live with and without? And it kind of, yeah, it kind of makes me think of, sorry, I'm having a conversation with the voice in my head, but it's making me think, it really reads like, you know, when were you last truly happy? It's speaking to like self-conflict, and if you choose wrong, it's going to cost you majorly. And I think this is really speaking to, again, the collective of coming together, of realizing that we are not each other's enemies. We all essentially want the same thing when it boils down to it, but what are we willing to give or take in order to get there? It's kind of like the messaging I'm getting here. Let's see here. Why is this Knight of Wands here? Why is this Knight of Wands here for the year 2023? Why is this Knight of Wands here for the year 2023? Why is this Knight of Wands here for the year 2023 for the collective? What is this Knight of Wands mean for the collective in the year 2023? We're trying to dress something up to be what it is not. We obviously know it's not working. Artifice, denial, cover up, trickery, superficiality, frivolity, foolishness, and look closer. Yeah, to me, this kind of speaks to a lot of bigger things that's going on the world stage, not just kind of like individually. Like, yes, I think this does call for some introspection in a way. To each individual, but this really just speaks to kind of like, again, the collective, the world at large. This is what it's speaking to. I also want to go back to this Seven of Wands here, and I want to note that a lot of the cards underneath the stumping grounds, blowing up the storm, I'm getting around to it, they kind of deal with water. They all have water flowing through these. Yeah, they all have water and air kind of like blowing through this. So it's really speaking to kind of like, and earth, I guess if you want to say stumping grounds and with the sand and everything, but it really just speaks to kind of like where your passions, your emotions, your practical and kind of like materialistic views on things, where do they all mesh, meld, intersect, and you can kind of start finding the answers there. Yeah, that's kind of what is bringing to mind for me. And then when we go to the Ace of Pentacles, again, a lot of this speaks to like earthly things. It's still really dealing with like, are we truly grounded in the here and now, instead of trying to live or move in a way where we are untethered and not aware of the cause and the harm that we are not only doing to each other or the world, but to ourselves as well, by not realizing it. And then I also want to call back, there is some pink in this as well, which makes me think of childhood. You have the pink pig, you kind of have this pink sky in the Page of Cups. You have the pink pants here with going back to your stumping grounds, what completely makes sense. You have the rainbow. You have the pink tiling here in the background of sweating like a center church, the pink flamingo. You have the pinkish purpley blue sky for the one horse town. You have the pink flowers here in the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. To me, it harkens back to like things remember, when things were simpler, when things were easier, tapping into that inner child, healing that inner child. So it is a lot of like pink in here as well for me, that's kind of like jumping out. Yes, I do see a lot of the green as well, which kind of harkens to heart chakra. Again, your passions, what matters, what's your cares or what's your concerns. You have the green here, you have the green on the night, you have the green, I don't know if you can kind of see that here, you have the green leaves and the Seven of Wands, you have the green grass and leaves here, you have the green boots, the green glass, again, the green frog and grass, you have the green trees and fields here in the one horse town. So it does calls back to a lot of kind of like what really matters, and that's what you need to be concerned about instead of chasing materialistic things or things that don't actually fulfill you. I kind of feel like this reading has been colored by a conversation I had earlier today, but yes, that's all what's popping up. Yeah, so now that we kind of have this basic information down, I want to look at timing. So I'm going to move these to the side and then I'm going to pull up the timing. So 1 second. Okay. So now that I have that, I got the playing cards here that I'm going to use for timing. And the way I use timing for this, I like to shuffle the deck with the intentions. So, of course, or shuffle my intentions into the deck. What should the collective be aware of or know about the year 2023? Can the collective get a look ahead into the year 2023? I think this is gonna be heavy. I feel like pressure in my head. What is the collective? The collective get a look for into the year 2023. And so what I do here is I'm just going to cut this deck. I'm going to flip a card over. I'm going to put that here. Oh, the 10 of diamonds, huh? And so again, this is leading, I'll just read this. This is dealing with, again, reading off of the card, financial independence. This deals with something shaking off in the spring. It speaks to fire, again, wealth, sealing the deal on things. It also could be a journey by fire, which also makes me think of trial by fire. But let's cut that there. And then what we're going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of these will probably not appear on the screen, but what I do is I count these off in 4, and it looks like we're counting from January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So we're going well into July, it seems. And so I only pulled 3 for this pile for July, so everything will not be revealed. So let's look for the month of January. A lot of tension. We have a lot of black cards here. It's funny that we also have the Ace of Clubs, which speaks to beginnings. It speaks to opportunities, tasks, jobs. So yes, again, this harkens back to the Ace of Pentacles for me, where we're talking about potentially, are we going to go through a worldwide recession or a monetary struggle or a materialistic struggle? Is there going to be some kind of turnover or strife? Again, January, more money. We have the Queen of Pentacles. So this usually speaks to a person. What would one person, or is it a group of people that kind of, with this Queen of Clubs being here, it makes me think that, and that seems pretty soon in January, are women going to be tired of the shit and on the collective? Because I don't know about anybody else. I can just speak here about the U.S. There has been a lot of obsession about the female anatomy lately, and I can see how some people would want to get back at the government for that. So we have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Clubs. And then we have the Three of Clubs. So again, we have the Three of Clubs and the Three of Hearts. So this speaks to some major growth going on here. I don't know if people are going to start bridging the out. I don't know if it's going to be a thing of like womanhood getting together. I don't know if it's going to be some kind of band. I don't know if this is going to be, and it's funny, the Three of Hearts also speaks to pregnancy, fertility. So I wonder if there's going to be some more like repressive things coming out about female health or something, or is there going to be again, like I can think of oh my god, what is it? It's some country in the Middle East. I'm so sorry. It's some country in the Middle East that currently they're going through something where a young woman unfortunately was killed for not wearing her hijab, and they are going through civil unrest there. I can think of here in the United States again where women have kind of like lost the rights to their bodies. I think of, I think that's the same thing in Bolsonaro, with the Bolsonaro race. I don't know. I don't remember where he's from. But it makes me think of a lot of people there were also arguing, I think, for abortion rights, and they kind of got it on a slim margin. I think they call themselves like the Green Party or something. So again, it makes me think of like there's going to be a lot of civil unrest when it comes to women. I wonder if women in different countries are going to come together and be like, we need to help each other, because obviously we're struggling here. So then we get into February. We have the Jack of Hearts. Again, the Jack of Hearts usually speaks to a person, but it could speak, when it comes to the collective, it could speak to us tapping into our dreams, our intuition, our artistic style, our innovation. I think it could be speaking to that. We also have, again, we have the Six of Clubs. So it's a lot of finance here that's going on, or like practical things. So things with like work or business. I wonder, are we going to change the way we see work, or how we work in February? And then we have the Two of Hearts. This is speaking more to romantic relationships. This also speaks to partnerships. This could speak to a romanticization of something, maybe. It's kind of what I was getting. We're romancing. And then we have the Three of Spades, sorry. And this is the opposite of like the Three of Hearts. So, okay, again, if what I keep getting from this on the world stage, I think there is going to be people trying to bridge the gap. It could be a thing of like upper class meets middle class meets lower class helping each other. It could be a thing of like bridging the gap between the sexes. It could be something of bridging the gap between religions. It could be something with bridging the gap between. The Two of Hearts could be something of like bridging the gap between opposing ideologies, essentially, and someone doesn't want that to happen. Like, it's going to be some disruption is what I'm getting for February. And so then we go into March, and I have, again, the Two of Spades. So yes, this speaks to, okay, so maybe they succeed in a sense of halting the partnership from happening, or it could just be a thing of like they're causing a lot of disharmony at the moment, and fights and quarrels and things like that are going to happen. Maybe a lot of distrust is going to go on. Then we have the Eight of Diamonds. So this definitely makes me think of like there's going to be a bit of disruption, and I think those who are in power or who have the finance power, so to speak, or who are in who pulls the purse strings, are probably going to get the upper hand, or they're the ones behind the communication. They're the string of communication of like hindering this partnership from happening. Ooh, March, we're getting a lot of space here. So then the space, we also get into things that's hidden, things that's, secrets, mystery. So yes, it speaks to maybe some kind of sabotage or espionage is going to go on. And that's what's, further disrupting the system, essentially. And then we also have 5. So on the world stage, what could be a death or a sickness? It couldn't be that it is coming back even heavier, right? Because I feel like we've kind of, or the panorama will come back. I should say that. I'm not going to say the C word I said earlier, but the panorama. This makes me think somebody pretty important on the world stage will probably be passing away, and I think it's going to cause a lot of trouble. Okay, so then we get into April, which is my birthday. Things start to look up, thank God. So then we have the 6 of diamonds here. We have, maybe there's going to be something with distance. Something with distance. Or like long game. Long game is coming to mind with the 6 of diamonds. Somebody is playing checkers while somebody behind them is like alluding, somebody's pretending to play checkers with them, but they're really playing chess. And then it's funny because then we have the King of Diamonds. So I think there is some, like, again, someone, and that did just jump out to me. Sorry. It's sometimes you have to be patient with me because sometimes it's a lot that floods in, and I'm kind of like having a conversation before I can actually say what I'm trying to say. But it's funny also on the King of Diamonds. Lies and power is one of the words that I have written on here. So, and it's remember with this, and I was saying someone is thinking long game. Someone is thinking long game. Yeah, financial power is kind of the big thing. And then remember I said in March it's going to be a death. And so then in the 5 of Hearts, we have something where this usually means like good health or, again, self-care is a big thing. The 5 of Hearts also speak to body. And then we have the Ace of Hearts, which again speaks to new beginnings, whether it's new beginnings with a friend, family, relationship, the beginning of spring. When things start to appear and change. And then we have for May, we get into the Ace of Spades. Ooh, okay, I gotta read the rest of this. Okay. So it starts off pretty rocky in May after we've come out of goodness. We get into some rocky situations here. Something is ending or a big decision has to be made. And I think if people are not careful, it can ruin it for the collective. A lot of this reads very big picture. This isn't, again, I think a lot of it starts small, but it's a lot of this reads very big picture to me. I gotta move my bell real quick. Probably should clean some of this energy here, because this. Pick this deck back up. And so then we have the Queen of Hearts. So this is the second time female or women are coming up in this reading. Is it going to take us a minute to get back to I guess being kind to one another, or kind of like tapping into our feminine energy, so to speak, of being like emotionally intuitive, emotionally stable, care concerning. Caregiving is like the word that keeps coming to me. Caregiving, like getting back to caregiving. And I don't mean just like for your loved ones. I mean for like even people you don't know, for others. And then it's funny, then we have the Seven of Hearts, which usually speaks to a lot of like, yeah, spiritual devotion is kind of what I think of. So I wonder if there's going to be a new spiritual ideology that is, or is it a change of kind of like, because what is that? Is that Christianity is like the big religion right now? I wonder if it's going to be a change for something like that. Because it has been used a lot lately for weaponizing or as an excuse for why people do certain things. And then we have the Five of Diamonds. Self-indulgence, again, is the thing that comes up for me. And what I mean by self-indulgence, I mean of like purchasing things to make you feel better. I wonder if is this like, is is consumerism going to be on the rise again in May? Is there going to be a lot of purchasing that's going on? And again, this kind of goes back to April with someone playing the long game when it comes to finances. So just keep that in mind. Okay, and then we have someone else coming in on the stage, or this could be the same person. We have the Jack of Spades. Someone really doesn't like it. We're gonna get some bad news in June. Typically you do I feel like, at least in my experience, I feel like typically you do get some kind of like weird or bad news in June, because people are like, okay, I'm back at the house. You start interacting with a lot of people. People are out. I feel like accidents be on the rise, especially because it's getting warmer and things like that. But this also could speak to kind of like being a hermit. So are people going to become recluse again? And so then we have the Ten of Spades. So there's a lot of sadness going on here in June. And the reason why I said this is because we then have the Ten of Hearts, but then we have the Four of Spades as well. But this Ten of Spades here, yeah, it just speaks to like just sadness. Something that's not gonna go well. Something bad. I'm gonna ring the bell over that. That sounds bad. And then we have the Ten of Hearts here. So again, endings. The Ten of Hearts with this Ten of Spades and this Jack of Spades and with this Four of Spades do not read well to me. This Ten of Hearts kind of reads like a Three of Swords. It really speaks to grief. Grief, not grief. What is grief? Grief, or healing after a bad heartbreak kind of thing. Just to get slapped again with this Four of Spades. It speaks to, it speaks to like, I need time to heal, to mend, to pick myself back up. The Four of Spades also speaks to, I guess you can say, hospitalization, the sick bed, deathbed. So again, I wonder, is there going to be a cultural figure, a big cultural figure, or of a figure of cultural importance that is going to lead to this collective grief and sadness that we're experiencing here in June? Because we have it in June, and then we also have it in, what was that, February, March kind of vibe. And so again, July is not determined. I only got 3 cards, so we're not getting the whole picture here. So then we get the Jack of Clubs. I'll put that here. We got the Jack of Clubs. So again, we have another Jack here. So this speaks to somebody young, kind of coming in and not playing fair. That's kind of like what it reads. Somebody is not playing fair. And it's funny because then we have the Two of Diamonds. I think in July we need to be mindful of anything that we sign. With the Two of Diamonds, contracts, agreements, signatures was kind of like what I got with this. So I think we need to be careful of what we're going to. Here in America, I'm going to say vote in, but I think it's, or legislate, or cape for, or that we call for, and it's not going to be what we think it is. I think in July, I think we need to be careful of what we're getting invited into, or what we invite in. And then we have the Nine of Hearts. So again, this could speak to change of heart, change for the better. It could also speak to change for the worse. Because change of heart don't necessarily mean it's something good or bad. It just says I changed my mind, essentially. But you know, the Nine of Hearts also comes off like the Nine of Cups in the tarot, so like wish fulfillment. So maybe by July we'll start to see what we wanted, the partnership and things that we wanted to happen, the bridging the gap, the coming together that we were trying to put together in January, February, March, actually start to come back into the fold around July, even though all of this disruption was going on in April, May, and June. And again, with the Ten of Diamonds here, I think people are going to want to break free of kind of like their self-worth being determined. Really, that's what's coming to mind. To me, it seems that we're trying to break free of our self-worth being tied to where we work, who we work for, what's our titles, how much we make, being tied to, well, who's going where, who when, how are you experiencing that. I think it's going to change from that to like, I'm actually going to do things I want to do. I'm not going on a trip with you and Brittany just because you two have money and it seems like it's in Cabo or Dubai. I don't really care about those places. I want to go to some place like Arizona or something. And not to say this in a bad way. You know, I want to go to some place closer or what other people deem basic, and go to some place like Toronto or something, because I will feel more comfortable there. I know I'm going to have more fun there. It's okay for me to be in the States. I don't have to afford to go to Dubai and break my bank and not know how or if I'll be able to even eat freaking noodles next week. So, yeah, this is kind of like the time card that I'm getting for 2023, at least from January to July, and that's carrying us through for a while. That's at least the first 6 months. This is not set in stone, but this is kind of like what I'm getting on the world stage. There is going to be a lot of shakeups, a lot of deceit. There's going to be a lot of power moves being made. There's going to be a lot of things. That is what I'm getting for this collective reading for the year 2023, or look ahead. Again, I think this is definitely warning to a lot of us who have investments in the stock market and things like that. Be smart with your money. If you can't afford to invest in Bitcoin, don't do it. If you can't afford to go on that flight or that trip with so and so, don't do it. And even if you can, make sure you still have money set to the side for a rainy day if you can. I know that's easier said than done in this economy nowadays. So it's just kind of like, to me, it's just kind of hunker down and actually figure out what matters to you and what you need to do in a sensible manner to make sure that you are set up and ready for the year 2023 coming ahead, or at least starting to get things settled and laid out for you and your family, so that everyone, it may not be ideal or abundant, but at least it'll be enough to kind of make sure everyone will be taken care of and happy and at least comfortable. So you know, will be surviving. You may not be thriving, but at least you'll be surviving. And so with that, I'm going to close out this collective reading. I'm going to thank everyone for coming in. I'm going to thank my masters, teachers, and loved ones, my guardian angels, my protector demons, and everything for coming into this space and for this reading and for helping me translate this and get this message across. And I will see you all in 2023 with the next video. Bye.